Hello. Glad to see all of you here. Let's wait for a few more minutes and we will start. Okay, I think we can start. I'll copy paste link to this document into chat. Please feel free to add yourself into attendees list. To have the opportunity editing this document, you need to click here and join to Cozystack Devs team. You'll get edit access automatically, or just in edit mode. We will edit later. So welcome everyone on our, which number is that? We just calculated this is 62 number of 62 number of Cozystack meeting. Today we have a lot of interesting subjects to discuss. Join to our community in Telegram. We have a very active Telegram community. You can join using this link. And also we have Slack group in official Kubernetes Slack. So feel free to add yourself and ask your questions. And additionally, I'll ask if we have any new members this week who would like to introduce themselves on this call. It's a good time to do that. Okay, so let's switch to agenda. First, I would like to introduce that we just cut out new release candidate of 1.3. It will include many interesting features. One of the most wanted features is LeanStore UI, which provides you management web interface for managing storage based on LeanStore. Also, we fixed scheduling and also introduced a lot of fixes for the lean store. Almost all of them already included on previous patch release, 1.2.3. We'll also include the newer lean store version with a lot of fixes. We just aligned our release with upstream lean store server, where maintainers were working hard on fixing a lot of bugs, and we also were working with them. So few custom patches still applied to our branch, but now it should be significantly more stable. Also, one more fix, which is included in 1.2, oh, sorry, point 2, the second one. It's a Cilium because we found a regression bug after upgrading to newer Cilium version. There were an issue with Cozy proxy. If you use whole IP annotation, it wasn't working. So in this release, it was completely fixed. Also, we ship a new Cozystack package, which includes set of default images like Ubuntu, CentOS, and many various other images. Also, we slightly enhanced our dashboard. Thanks, Alexei, for this. And now the dashboard shows better states of the deployed applications. Application will switch to ready state only after all the workloads will switch to ready state. So now your users will not be confused. And also we provide the list of events. I think there should be a screenshot how it looks like. Here it is. So you can see the screenshots of the events tab. Now all the applications will have it. And that's probably all about the release. There were also side updates of the Talm, which now supports the multi-document format for configuring TALS 1.3, 1.13, sorry. And what else? And finally, we updated our external apps example. Previously, it was outdated. Now it should be including the good enough example for deploying Minecraft servers using Cozystack. So feel free to use this repository, perform your own custom repository for Cozystack. This repository can be simply joined as a repository for providing applications. And you can provide your own applications to your customers, your users, through the standard Cozystack dashboard.
And documentation was updated too.
Yeah, the documentation was updated too. I think we should include this link. It is not included, so it should be on our
Yeah, it's not included, but it exists in our documentation base.
All right, yeah, and the documentation itself started becoming to be more versioned. So now we start versioning every feature release. Expect that sometimes you might see not the latest version documentation. And now we have prepared very interesting topic to discuss. We have two members who actually prepared new demo of UI. Finally, finally, we found that some UI interfaces can be simply constructed by using AI tools, AI agents. They do that job quite well, and I think that's a good time to think about updating Cozystack dashboard with new modern UI. So we have prepared two demo scenarios, two demos of new dashboards. They implemented different ways by two different people as their community input. So I would like to pass through this presentation to somebody else. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sharing my screen.
Yeah, no. You're sharing your screen. All
I was
fine.
sharing. Okay, so let's start with the first demo. Take a mic, Alexei.
Yeah. On the previous week, we discussed we should have some different UIs and try something different. So me and Maxim tried to create something new, kind of separate. And let me share my screen, and I can show you how my version looks. Mm. Uh, it's fine. It's just a mode to bypass login. I have some login variants like kubeconfig, kubetoken, OIDC, or something. On the dashboard, you can find any accessible with your account applications deployed to tenants you have access. We have marketplace. You can deploy something like where's my Minecraft? Okay, let's try like etcd. You can deploy it this way. You can manage your tenants, look in consumptions, deploy it, subtenants, recent activity. You can inspect your applications. This is my version. It was focused on security, server-side rendering, and speed. I think it's time to Maxim.
Yeah. So I create my front-end UI.
Let's switch to Maxim a little bit later. Can we have questions about your implementation, Alexei?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure. Please tell a little bit about the technology stack you used for building this.
Basically, it's Go stack. It's Temple. It's HTMX. It's pure Go, and where it needs, it's TypeScript.
Interesting. Does it support live updates? So if something changing, do it
Yeah, of
use?
course, of
Mhm.
course. It's not a religious version of server-side rendering. If you need something, you can call it with HTMX or something. It's absolutely working. I can show again. I think I can find something. Probably here. Probably I have
Yeah,
something in logs.
could you please also open the dev mode of the console so we can see the
To be
requests?
honest, I'm not sure how to open it in Safari.
All right, all right.
But as you can see, it's trying to do something here, to trying to
But this
reconnect.
is not single page application, am I right?
Yeah, it's not
So
a canonical single page application, but it mostly living in your cache.
that's but every page is rendered and requested from the server, or it's rendered just once and it has some kind of front.
It's partially rendering on the server side, where it's needed to be rendered on the server side. Like I think if you're trying to create application with window will be rendered on the server side, but the UI mostly is rendered on your side after first login.
All right, so it looks like single page application. but it uses backend for render some specific components, so it can take it through the JSON or something like that.
Yeah, I think there is no point to creating without backend at all, because you can't manage Cozy without Cozy. So it's totally fine to have connected application to the backend.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same case. In Cozystack, we provide high level of the customizations. So users can register their own types, and front end actually should somehow parse it and render the forms. And to me, it might be slightly difficult to implement purely on front end. So we probably still need to have some backend, which actually will render the form in the similar format like Kubernetes does.
Yeah, and I'm working on annotations to handle defaults or immutable fields here. It will be done soon.
That sounds interesting. Is there any source available to see the implementation and to try it yourself? Or maybe somebody from community will be interested.
Yeah, give me a
Contribute.
second. It's here. It's ready to deploy. You have Helm chart, and it's easy to test it on your site. Here's a quick start, and it's absolutely.
All right, please copy paste the link to chat. I will add it to the document.
Where is the chart in the Zoom? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it's here.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions to Alexey?
Yes, I have a question. So what was the reason of developing a new UI?
Let me say it's soft.
From your heart?
No, I think we was not satisfied with previous UI. It was it wasn't so smooth as we wanted, and as experiment with Maxim, we tried to do our best with IA to create something new.
Yeah, I think this is just for concept. That looks like we didn't ask Alexey for developing new UI, but after the guys both did that, we decided that yeah, that might make sense.
Okay, thank you. So I may know that the previous UI was quite complicated to configure, as I can remember.
I
And
think
it
the
feels like
main
this one will
difficult
be
was
simpler.
yeah, the main difficult was to develop it. Actually, it is not prepared to simply develop. It was really highly customizable. You can configure it with Kubernetes YAMLs, but we just found that you can upload some kind of front-end project to Claude and just ask it do some stuff, and you can develop the really good UI interfaces that way. So we got 2 different implementations, and now we just do.
Yeah, and it's time to pass the mic to the Maxim.
Yeah. So let's see the second demo. Maxim, mic is yours.
Okay. So my solution based on based on Next.js. So we see the demo.
Yep.
Okay. So when you first
Maxim, we
time
can hear you.
I can hear Maxim.
I also can hear Maxim. Yes, I can see the screen. All right.
So we we see tenant selection. So if your token has access to multiple namespaces in Cozystack, you can select in which tenant you can do your work. So for example, we go to the root tenant and we see all deployed services you have. And for example, we want to create a Kubernetes cluster. So first, we can jump to this page and create your Kubernetes cluster. For example, I name it as test. So we configure your node groups, add-ons for Kubernetes cluster, and creating. So we can see all events when we create a Kubernetes cluster. So waiting.
How do you stream the events? Do you
I stream events from the Kubernetes
that's
via
all events of the namespace, or you somehow select them using labels?
I select events based on what resource actually events of, and via regex pattern, because not all events we can handle from events resource.
Interesting.
No. So check at current moment test other Kubernetes cluster. We can see actually logs. So I see some interesting bug that's show reported. We have workload monitors already as Kubernetes resource. All selected add-ons, configuration of control plane, node groups. We have 2 nodes, and we can actually fetch the secrets in the standard way via some interesting bug happened. Oh no. So we have kubeconfig, and we can download via quick actions to download kubeconfig for access. So we actually have platform apps with all managed resources in Cozystack. And finally, we have search for creating or for selecting or switching namespace. So, and finally, we have logs. And that's all what I actually want
To demonstrate.
demonstrate.
That's also interesting. I'll ask the same questions. Which technology stack does it use?
Technology stack used based on Next.js and React with components from ShadCN. And it's actually like a client single page application with BFF inside in the same pod. So we don't require to deploy BFF separately. And in the future, I want to do some stuff for deploying this without auto proxy.
All right. And can you tell a little bit more if BFF requires any extra token for?
This token takes from the front end. So if you authorized via keycloak, backend actually proxies the request to the Kubernetes with user token. No state on the BFF.
Got it. Interesting. Thank you for sharing a link. Alexei already provided link to your project as well and added it to the
5 seconds.
docs. Yeah. Yeah. Alexei already provided it. Thank you. The question I have now is how to define the applications. Does any solution of Alexei or Maxim, if you use,
Yeah.
if they reading the application definitions, I guess both of them are not.
Yeah, we're using the same technology. We're just reading the custom resource definitions and mapping it to the UI. And this is the source of truth. We are not handling something special.
I have at current moment not implemented, but for some custom visualization, I have a plugin system RFC, which at current moment not implemented, but I soonly implement this. And we have dashboard form for creating forms for creating custom resources, or forms created from the custom resource schema for dynamically created forms.
That sounds interesting. I would also talk a little bit about the format. Should we change format for defining the application creation pages, or
yes and no. We not required to create a new form because it's backward compatible, but for have nice components in the form creation form page, you should create a dashboard form custom resource, which
but in
actually
fact it is simple YAML, so we don't need to force our users to use some custom JS files to specify how it should look.
No. Writing JS file for creating forms for custom resources is not required. It's option, but not required.
Got it. But I would also consider if we really need to have that configured that way. Alex also provide interesting way which Rancher does for their applications. They write some kind of answer files which they then render as part of their UI. I would also consider using this format, or we need to find a way how to simplify the users flow if they want to define their own applications.
So at current moment, I don't implement answer files format. I prefer to creating like dashboard forms resources. But in the future, I want to implement something like answer files, or actually took this format and implemented in UI via plugin.
Okay. That's just the thing about our existing dashboard. It's by the fact it can be fully configured through the YAML files. It is quite complex because those YAML files, they actually just represent React DOM in YAML format. Yeah,
I think if you want to create a custom forum, very specific way, you should write not YAMLs, just JavaScript code.
TypeScript, I think.
TypeScript. Yeah.
All right, then. Any other questions to Maxim? No questions. Good, good. Right then, let's switch to the next topic. Yeah, I copied both projects to this document, so you can find the links in this chat or in this doc. Feel free to investigate it, and if you want to contribute. Also, we have a demo or topic to talk a little bit about external apps. Not sure if we have something to show. I already mentioned it a little bit that right now we extended the documentation of adding external applications. I can go walk through a little bit through it. So the idea that you can just install your repository, which perform this pretty the same way like it works in Cozystack. So I can just open this external apps example, and I'll open Cozystack source code. We can see that the package structure is quite similar to that. It also has core platform, which includes actually main chart and main makefile target, which performs the OCI repository, I guess, right? So this one is used to deploy the as entry point to deploy this repository and all the needed things into your Cozystack, and apps actually defines the custom applications. So this way you can define your values files, specify the parameters needed for the user, and that will generate also that will be configured in your Cozystack dashboard. So you'll see the application and you can install it. In case of system applications, sometimes you can have some operators. For now, this example does not include it. They will come into system folder. Probably we need to add some operator just for example purposes. Upcoming release 1.3, already mentioned that in here. We have a topic to discuss about the release policy. And I think Daniil was one of the creator of this topic. Are you here on the call? Okay, Daniil is not in the call. So let's switch it to the next call. We also have the next topic, I guess, from the Nikita about the KubeOVN replacement. Would you like to introduce this topic to the community?
Of course. So ARM support and KubeOVN replacement are my topics, and I will talk about it a little bit. So I just wanted mostly to ask feedback from the community and from you guys of how do you find KubeOVN, and what maybe if there is a replacement in some way, which features should it have? So I was thinking about VPCs, and I was thinking about supporting live migrations for KubeVirt, virtual machine pods or something. And maybe you can think something else that is absolutely required for a replacement.
I have some context about that. KubeOVN was chosen for simple reason. That was the only CNI which was already made for working with virtual machines and KubeVirt. One of the most important features is MAC address management. Just for example, if you have ordinary Ubuntu virtual machine, if you run it every time with different MAC address, actually mostly no CNI plugins not managing MAC addresses. KubeOVN actually measuring MAC address from the IP address and make it consistent. So if you create virtual machine, it will always get the same IP address and the same MAC address. And sometimes it might be crucial for the specific purposes. For example, the ordinary Ubuntu. If you change MAC address, the next boot of the Ubuntu will not reconfigure networking and it will stay offline. So to support such distributions, it's better to keep already existing flow for them, so the things are not changing. The second thing is live migrations. So when virtual machine is migrating from one pod to another, from one node to another, you have actually two pods created on source node, on target node, and virtual machine, which is actually just a QEMU process, is just moving from one node to another. For this time, we need to have similar networking stack, just because the guest agent inside of the virtual machine knows nothing about live migration. And KubeOVN handles that out of the box. What the alternatives were? There are actually a few alternatives, but they usually focusing on providing the networking for virtual machines as secondary stack through the Multus. We didn't want to implement Multus for a long time, just because we focused on keeping the standard Kubernetes stack, also for the reason to sometimes moving out from the KubeOVN and this custom logic. So for now, we have really cool scheme when standard pod networking is the same for pods and for virtual machines. Standard Kubernetes entities like services also supported by pods and virtual machines. And we also changed them to automatically pass through the whole IP address instead of the specific port. Now it just works, but KubeOVN itself, it has some issues. That's true. The KubeOVN is based on OVN, quite huge tech of the SDN networking started to be deployed. Actually, I think developed mainly for OpenStack, and the folks just took this stack and put it as is into Kubernetes, implemented a lot of custom resources to managing it. But after all, that still looks like something not very Kubernetes native.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah, and sometimes it might have some difficult bugs. It has its own state with JSON-based database with own leader election, southbound bridge and northbound bridge. That's another stack of the technology, which is quite complex. That's true. My preference is Cilium. I really love Cilium, how it works, but unfortunately, it doesn't work with virtual machines very well. We can consider using Cilium in case, like pure Cilium, in case if we don't need to have live migration and all of this stuff. Because if we simply need to create virtual machines for the Kubernetes, for managed Kubernetes clusters, we don't expect that they will be live migrated. In this case, so like single-use virtual machines, ephemeral virtual machines, they can use ordinary Cilium, and that's okay. But for long-term virtual machines and specific operating systems like Windows, MikroTik OS, the same Ubuntu, we need to provide them like standard stack which they get used to work with. And we need to keep MAC address, we need to keep the opportunity to live migrate, and also somehow route traffic to them. So for that reason, might be considered technologies. KubeOVN is fine. There is also another project, it's called OVN Kubernetes, which is started as part of OpenShift, but still use OVN under the hood. I know the folks who develop the house platform. I get some experience developing that with them. We were patching Cilium itself to have the opportunity to live migrate the virtual machine. That's something which can be simply implemented, but very difficult to support because Cilium is also a quite big project. And if we don't push those patches to upstream, it might be difficult to support by the small team. I would definitely go with Cilium, but we probably need to start this initiative to visiting their community meetings and asking the questions if they don't want to have full KubeVirt and virtualization support. That's what about pod networking. The second question about, because we have two options, we have default Kubernetes pod networking, and we also have, how's it called, secondary interfaces, which mainly used for VPCs. And that stack can also be implemented different ways and using different plugins. In fact, for these secondary interfaces, we can use simple VXLAN interfaces and Linux bridges, like standard ordinary plugins from the CNI toolset. We don't use them for now because we already have KubeOVN, which solves that part of creation and managing of VPCs. But in case if we getting rid out of KubeOVN, I would also consider using something similar. Or maybe also go to the communities meeting of the Cilium and ask how they fare with multi-interfaces support.
One more question regarding VPCs. So, do you have any requests, or maybe if you want to implement that VPCs are not like secondary interfaces, but so VPCs could work as primary interfaces, for example, for some tenants or namespaces or something like that?
This topic is slightly difficult. The main limitation is kubeproxy. Because if we're talking about the Kubernetes networking, it usually have three different stack layers. It has pod networking, which is managed by CNI. It has services plugin, actually kubeproxy or Cilium in kubeproxy replacement. And the third actually is how do you advertise it externally. So the main issue of using VPCs as pod networking, this Kubernetes networking design requirement that every node should have the opportunity to communicate with any pod, and any pod should have the opportunity to communicate with any node in the cluster. And the same way, node to node and pod to pod. The issue here is that when you're creating the, let's say, pod in some specific namespace, they get some IP addresses, and then you create Kubernetes service, which also creates endpoints and endpoint slice objects. So you get this virtual IP address. It should go to the specific IP addresses. If you have VPCs in default networking, you can expect that sometimes they can overlap. In this way, multiple tenants can have the same IP addresses, and kubeproxy or Cilium in kubeproxy replacement will just not work. Not sure if there are any solution implementing this design, but from my point of view, I see this like the main issue of that.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, actually in KubeOVN, you can create default interfaces in pod networking. You can specify VPCs for for the namespaces. The only issue, the IP address range overlapping isn't working for it.
Yes, I was thinking about that KubeOVN already provides VPCs, and it seems to work fine with overlapping IP ranges, and that wasn't so straightforward about it. The proxy would not work sometimes.
Yeah, it is not possible to assign overlapping ranges for default networking in the same namespace, in different namespaces. It will not just allow you to do that. There is also a third way to go, like consider OpenShift and Rancher Harvester model. They actually just refuse of using default pod networking for the virtual machines. They call it management network, which needs just to access the virtual machine, but they use these Multus provided secondary interfaces as first like the main object.
Okay,
But
and what?
yeah, personally, I don't like this design. I really like the idea of keeping the Cozystack Kubernetes native and don't ask users to do some weird stuff like configuring VLANs. That should work just out of the box.
And one more thing about VPCs, just a bit unrelated to the previous topic we discussed. So I was thinking that maybe some customers would like VPCs to connect to external VPCs. So for example, they have, I don't know, some network in their infrastructure, and it should connect to the specific part of the Kubernetes cluster so that the specific virtual machines could interact with the infrastructure. And there may be a couple of those subnets, and one cluster should contain a couple of VPCs, which could be a part of external network. And haven't you met such a setup, or maybe you have heard of someone wanting something like that? Well,
we have many requests for this feature. Yes, people usually expecting that if we provide VPCs, they should have the opportunity to connect those VPCs to their external layer 2 networks. For now, it is not supported yet. I think we will also think about how can we implement that first for admin level, the second for the users. But that's somehow something which requires research first. I can tell a little bit more about that. That we also considering to rewriting Cozy proxy with eBPF managed method, which will just copy paste the external packets directly to the virtual machine interface. That should be super fast, and that also should solve this layer 2 connectivity. But we need a little bit more time for that. And moreover, that's actually will keep the networking design, Kubernetes native. Despite the fact that we will deliver layer 2 domain directly to the virtual machine interface, we can still work in the same approach with pod networking and services, Kubernetes services.
Got it, thank you. I can see that we have a hand.
Yes, Johan, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. But my thoughts that about this eBPF hacks, it will be not very good from enterprise, because I believe that most of the requests for access to VMs are from enterprises and from others companies. And I would tell to consider that if it's possible to evaluate if you can do a direct VXLAN tunnel from this particular pod to the external network, and this will be more the way which will be accepted, because it could be troubleshooted. Because if nobody could troubleshoot this eBPF, it will be not very good.
I think that might be also a solution. I guess there is also technology for that. That's called EVPN, am I right?
Yes, this is industry standard, but it is it can be done by BGP, or in KubeOVN, it's like centralized SDN. So and you also have a flannel, which I believe do these tunnels. So if you can program the flannel or extend flannel with that, then maybe so you need the network can be, if you want to keep the Kubernetes network very simple, you can have all of that as it is, but use VXLAN simply to allow direct L2 interconnect between entities in Kubernetes. And the only VXLAN, and you know that it requires additional 45 or 70 bytes overhead sometimes, but it can be also, you need to think about it, because it will be serious performance degradation. But if you didn't think about that acceleration and so on. But
I think there is a problem not in technology stack, because there are so many ready-made technologies which we can just take and use. The main problem of mapping these entities to the Kubernetes itself and the existing logic of which we're having right now, to make it backward compatible and
yeah, but
estimated.
there is such a mode, I believe, in Calico, then when you don't have this overlay network, and when all pods simply speak via BGP without overlay, and this all allows to also have direct connectivity with all entities in Kubernetes, and this may be also sort of approach, but
yeah, let me break in, guys. I've investigated a little bit at this kind of a setup. So it is called an underlay mode in KubeOVN, and it relies on networking infrastructure to provide some stuff like tunnels and encapsulations and routing maybe. But I'm not sure that OVN is able to perform what you want regarding a direct connection to a VXLAN tunnel for a specific pod. So it will work. It will establish VXLAN tunnels between Kubernetes nodes, and it will establish separate VXLAN for VPCs inside the cluster. But regarding external connectivity, I think it has issues, or maybe it is completely not implemented in KubeOVN. So the only way to connect between VPCs is only if you have those VPCs inside a single cluster. It is not designed to connect to some infrastructure outside of the cluster.
No. This is not the issue, because if you know that, for example, AWS has such a function that you can have a VXLAN tunnel from their VMs and so on external to some, if you want to get direct layer 2 access to some. For example, it's used for the flows export for the logs and so on. So you can have this as well. So you need to understand that VXLAN is it's not bound to the to the controller. So VXLAN is basically very basic thing. It's simply EDP tunnel in which the Ethernet frames is passed. But who is set up this VXLAN tunnel and why? This is completely do what you want. That KubeOVN does same And the BGP VPN does same, and anyone else. And in the beginning, these tunnels were simply static. You simply configure. You can configure the VXLAN tunnel by hands between any Linux kernel, and you have multiple kernels, and you may have a bridge in kernel which
Yeah,
allow.
again, the main problem here is not technology stack. We can implement whatever you want really quickly. The only problem is how we map these entities to the existing Kubernetes flow. That's the most difficult part.
Kubernetes is, it's power in these labels, annotations, and all that structure. So you already have structure, and you already
there is an issue with these annotations and labels. You can see where it go in case of ingress controller, which provide a lot of way of using custom annotation. Actually, that's called implementing your parallel API instead of using existing entities. So,
yeah, I agree, but you already have most of you have a structure, logic, and you have tools. So
yeah, actually, we just need to investigate that a little bit more. We are thinking about providing the better options for discuss such opportunity. Actually, we have the repository created. It's called Cozystack community. That's quite old repository, but we are going to recover it. This repository is actually intended to provide a way from the community to commit new ideas.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that we could just write it down so it is not getting lost. And I also think that that's a cool idea. Yeah.
We can actually discuss it in pull request review format. So if somebody wants to start, please feel free to submit something to here, and we will start using this approach. We will discuss those ideas on the next community meeting.
Okay.
We're almost done in a time. I would also introduce that we've created a new repository which holds cloud code skills which might be useful for Cozystack. We already have skills which helps you to deploying the new clusters. I think in a while we will add the skills which will help you to debug lint store troubles and actually help you to using and operate with Cozystack itself. If you have some skills, feel free to open PR to add them here also. Unfortunately, we don't have a time to bug scrap. We run out of time. So I would say thank you for attending Cozystack community meeting. See you in 2 weeks at the same time. Yeah, and also please join Cozystack Summit. We will have a lot of interesting talks. The program is already published. I will copy paste this link into chat, and thank you for attending. See you in a while. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.